Member for Red Deer Lacombe.
Hey. Madam Speaker, if the NDP Liberals won't follow the province's lead and give unvaccinated Canadians their rights back, maybe they will follow our international partners. We know that the Prime Minister values his Playboy image on the world stage more than anything else, as his travels and selfies prove, but our international partners are bewildered as to why the Canadian government is so reluctant to let life return to normal for all Canadians. Switzerland and Greece are removing all travel-related restrictions next week, and virtually no other country requires it for domestic travel for their citizens. So why won't this government follow the science?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health and the Minister of Sport.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank my honourable colleague for giving me the opportunity to highlight a recent study indicating that, unfortunately, the unvaccinated continue to disproportionately risk the safety of those vaccinated against COVID-19, and highlight the fact that in the last week, almost 12,000 Canadians have received their first dose, 30,000 Canadians have received their second, 89,000 have received their third, and over 220,000 have received their fourth dose, Madam Speaker. This pandemic is not over. We all want it to be, but we must continue to follow the science. We must continue to support our neighbours. We must continue to fight for kids to ensure that young people under 6 do not get COVID-19, as they have been the biggest numbers in the last couple of days. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Well, Madam Speaker, the Parliamentary Secretary talks about supporting our neighbours. Under this government, we still have neighbours, members of our community who aren't able to travel, who aren't able to provide for themselves and their families because of unscientific mandates that this government continues to perpetuate. It's the end of April, and this Prime Minister still refuses to follow the science. International allies, most of the provinces, they've done the right thing, but this government continues to lag behind. Enough is enough. So will the Prime Minister finally take the politics out of it, follow the science, and end the mandates?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for his question. On this side of the House, we are very concerned by the safety of Canadians. On this side of the House, we are using the advice of Canadian experts. Canadian policy has not changed, and we are going to base our decisions on the public health advice in Canada.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Provinces have now ended mandates for vaccination requirements for public spaces, and businesses are following suit. People need to work to support their families. When will the federal government catch up with the rest of the country and the world and end vaccine requirements for their workers?
Our Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And like my honourable colleague, I want this pandemic to be over too. But unfortunately, nationally, last week, 383 new deaths were recorded. That's unfortunate. And over the last 30 days, the number of kids under 5 who have gotten their third is the third highest hospitalization rate of any age group. The highest rates were among those 60 and older. However, rates in the under 5 age group are more than 5-fold higher than those in above 5 and above 4. So we must continue to support our neighbours. We must continue to encourage vaccination. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Charleswood, St. James, Assiniboia, Headingley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In my home province of Manitoba, provincial public servants can actually come to work without having to be vaccinated. In Ottawa, if a public servant isn't vaccinated, they get the pink slip. Why should federal public servants be held to a different standard than provincial ones? It's time to be reasonable. Will the minister show just a little compassion, act like a reasonable person, and finally lift mandates on federal public servants?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, having a fully vaccinated workforce makes our work sites and communities safer. And when we asked the employees of the federal public service to stand up and to do their part, 99% said yes. And Madam Speaker, we are committed to review this policy every 6 months. Right now, we are in the middle of a review. We will make our decision based on science and on facts, and I look forward to keeping this House updated on that fact.